Namaskar everybody and welcome to the Geeta Satsang. So let us start with Prarthana. By the Guru's grace and the will of Sri Krishna, we have all assembled for this Geeta Satsang. May we have their guidance to be able to learn and adopt things which will help us to grow spiritually. Let us chant the Shlokas. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namostu Te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagyabhushanam Srimad Venkatanathaaryam Vande Vedanta Deshikam Yo Nityamachyutapadambuja Yukma Rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Trinaya Mene Asmadguror Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye. So with prayers at the lotus feet of the Acharyas, let us take up our shlokas for today. So if you remember in the previous Geeta Satsang, we had stopped at the 38th shloka of the 4th chapter. So today we will take up shloka number 39, 40, 41 and 42. And after these 4 shlokas, this 4th chapter will be completed. So we have seen how in the previous shlokas, Krishna was advising Arjuna about the need to perform jnana, to perform karma yoga, not as mere karma, but by having the right knowledge about it, with Atma Sakshatkara, with the jnana, with the attitude that I am the, with the bhava that I am not the Sharira, but I am the Atma. With that jnana, when we do certain actions, then it becomes jnana yoga. It becomes karma yoga. With that jnana, when we do, it becomes karma yoga and does not remain as mere karma alone. So today we will take up first the 39th shloka. So in this, Krishna is explaining further to Arjuna. He says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah samyatendriyaha Jnanam labdva param shantim chirena digacchati. So those who have Shraddha, those whose faith is deep and who have practiced controlling their mind and senses attain divine knowledge. Through such transcendental knowledge, they quickly attain everlasting supreme peace. So far, Krishna had been explaining about doing karma. Now, there were different levels that he has talked about. So, people who are at a lower level, they will do all different types of karma. Like maybe we do nama japa, maybe we go to temple, we offer puja, we do homa, havan, yajna, like that. Or we do charity, dana. So, these are all different types of karmas that we do. So, when we just are doing the action, that is only mere karma. What is the next level? That we do these actions with awareness, with Atmagnana. And we do it because we know that I am not the Sharira, but I am the Atma. With that awareness, we do. And what is the highest level? The highest level is when we do karma, we do with awareness of Atmagnana, and because of that, we are able to attract, we are able to get the grace of the Lord. We are able to receive the blessings of the Lord. So here the commentators give us the example of somebody like Shabari. Now Shabari was a tribal woman and she waited and waited for Rama and Lakshmana to come during their vanavas. Her guru had instructed her that you have to wait till they come. So she waited and waited. And when finally Lord Rama came there, What did she tell him? She said, I have become purified. How did I become purified? She said, because your glance fell on me. By the mercy of your glance, whatever dirt was attached to me, whatever papas may have been remaining in my account, they are all been destroyed and I became purified. Now, even in the Vishnu Sahasranama, it is told that the Lord is the one who is Pavitranam Pavitramyo, Mangalanam Cha Mangalam. So, of all the things that are pure in this universe, the Lord is the most pure. And Mangalanam Cha Mangalam. Whatever is Mangala, whatever is auspicious in this world, the Lord is the supreme among those. So, by coming into contact with the Lord, by getting the grace of the Lord, all the dirt, all the impurity, all the papa punya karmas which are attached to us, they will be destroyed. So these are the levels through which we progress. Now, here Krishna is telling that people, who are the people who attain divine knowledge? We can understand from this shloka that there are different categories. There are some people who have deep faith, and there are people who have practiced controlling their mind and senses. Now, whether it is the people who have Shraddha or the people who have Indriya control, whatever it may be, when they attain that knowledge, then they attain peace. So, somebody who has faith, what happens to such a person? His attention is only focused on doing Karma Yoga. Somebody who controls the senses and mind, what is his attention? He is also focused only on doing Karma Yoga. Now, when somebody has both these things, then what happens is, because they are so focused on the goal, then they reach the supreme level. And by attaining this Atma Gnana, they get peace of mind, which is the highest possible level. They become purified and they get peace of mind. Now, why is it said that they get peace of mind? Because this person who is doing Karma Yoga, who is doing all the actions with the right bhava, that this is all as an offering to the Lord, it is being done by the Lord Himself, and I am only a medium, such a kind of person does not get drowned in the cycle of joy and sorrow. So, at any point of time, he is not moving in this ups and downs in this world. Normally, what happens to us when something good happens, we feel very happy, we are overjoyed. And when something bad happens, then we are in the depth of sorrow. And because we are constantly like this, going up and down, we are not in a steady state, and therefore we don't experience shanti. We don't have peace. But if there is a person who is having Shraddha, and that person is also having the sense control and mind control, then this person, because of all this, he has experience of Atma Gnana, and such a person will not get carried away by what happens in everyday life, and such a person will attain peace. And Krishna is promising that if you do these things, if you have Shraddha and you practice mind and sense control and you get divine knowledge, then how long does it take to attain this Shanti? Very quickly it will come. So it is not something that you have to keep doing for ages together. If you manage to do this, of course, the process of going there is going to take long for us. But once we get those stages, then very quickly the Lord will make sure that we attain peace. So that is what he is telling in this 39th shloka. Now he continues in the 40th shloka. So far till here, Krishna has been telling that what are all the good things that will come to people who follow these practices, to people who do karma yoga. Now he is trying to tell what will happen to somebody who does not do this. Now, generally, we have seen that whenever we want to motivate somebody to do a particular thing, it is important to tell them the benefits of what will come when they do that, and also point out the pitfalls, what will go wrong if they don't do that. So, here now in this 40th shloka, Krishna is explaining what will happen if people don't have Shraddha and people don't have control of their senses. So, he says, Agnyascha Shraddha Danascha Samshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Naparo Nasukham Samshayatmanaha. So he says somebody who is having neither Shraddha, no faith, nor they have jnana, not knowledge. And people who are samshayatma, they are people who are always having doubts. What happens to these people? They suffer a downfall. They go to the very depths. They will not succeed at all, and in fact, they will experience failure. For the skeptical souls, skeptical means somebody who is doubting, somebody who is not having shraddha. For such kind of atmas, there is no happiness either in this world or the next. So, what Krishna is telling here, what damage will happen when somebody does not perform karma yoga in the right manner? A person who has jnana, a person who has shraddha, they attain peace of mind. But if somebody does not have this, what is the meaning? They are people who are lost in the idea that this Sharira and the Atma are the same. When you have Atma Jnana, you know that Atma and Sharira are different. And you know that whatever is happening to the body is only for the body, it does not touch the soul. But if there is a person who does not have this concept itself, then what will happen? Anything that happens to them, they don't even know that there is an Atma who is separate from the soul. So, such people, they consider body only as Atma. Atma and body are the same for them. So, such people don't have Atma Jnana. Now, what happens? When something happens, they only see that that person is troubling me. This person is doing this to me. And they see differences between people, or they will see the shortcomings of everything. So these people have no shraddha. They have what is called as a very samshayatmaka buddhi. They have a suspicious mindset. They, for everything, they will always be doubting. Now, if they go to a temple, they will say, God knows whether this God will really give me what I want or not. Then if they see other people doing lot of charity or spiritual practice and all, then they will say, these people are doing so much, who knows whether they will get the benefit of it or not. Then if somebody tells them that such person is a guru, you go and take upadesha from him or you learn from him, and they'll say, God knows whether he is really capable or not, or he is a true guru or not. So like that, they are always in this mode of being suspicious. And such a suspicious person does not have peace. Krishna is saying, such a suspicious person will not get any peace either in this world or in the next world. Now, we don't know what happens to people in the next world, in the next Janma, what happens, we have no idea of that. But we may think that we have seen many such people, isn't it? All around us, we know maximum people are like that. People who don't have Shraddha, people who have no Atma Jnana. Now, all these people, they are living well only, no? Their lives are going on normally. They don't seem to be suffering in any way. So we may get a doubt that why is it that Krishna is telling this? So here the acharyas, they explain that maybe they are living a life, but do they have happiness in that life? Do they have peace in that life? It is not going to be possible, because it's the very nature of our mind that if we are going to constantly be doubting and not put our faith anywhere, then what happens is it does not sit still. The mind will always be doubting things, and that kind of a mind is restless. And when there is restlessness in the mind, then it is not possible to have peace of mind. So such people, they are living, no doubt. And to us, it appears like they are living a good life. But in reality, they are only surviving. They are not thriving. We know what is surviving means, to just go on with life. Thriving means to be really doing well in your life and to be able to enjoy what this life has in store for you. So if there is somebody who is constantly doubtful, constantly anxious, constantly worrying, then because of that samshayatmaka buddhi, they do not thrive in this world. And whether they enjoy material things or not, even in those material things, they will always be having some kind of asamadhana. There is some discontent for them always. We have seen many such people, isn't it? There are people, no matter what good happens to them, they will always find something to crib about that. No matter what happens good in their life, they will always say it could have been better than this. Or they will always compare themselves with persons who are better than them and say, see, that one is so much better. I could have also got that, but I didn't get that. like that. So such people cannot get peace of mind, not in this world, and definitely not in the next world, and definitely they will not get moksha, because they are not having shraddha. That is the basic thing which Krishna is explaining here. Only when there is shraddha, only when there is acceptance, only when there is surrender to the Lord's will, then there is real peace of mind. If I think that, oh, this can be better, this can be better, see, we should have discontentment when it comes to our sadhana. I can say it is correct if I say that I can chant more, I should do more nama japa, I should remember the Lord more, I should feel more kritagnyata. We can have discontentment there, but we should not have discontentment with the other things which are going on in our life. There we should be able to feel happy. We should feel that yes, I have so much, and feel grateful for what we have, and we should be prepared to accept whatever comes our way. If we don't have that in our normal worldly life, we will never have real peace of mind. So that is what Krishna is explaining in this shloka. Now he goes further to the 41st shloka. In that, he says that if you take the karma yoga to be a fire, then people who have renounced all their karmas in that fire, such people don't get bound by any kind of karma, by any kind of papa. So he says in this 41st shloka, Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. So he's calling Arjuna by the name as Dhananjaya. O Arjuna, actions do not bind those who have renounced karma in the fire of yoga, whose doubts have been dispelled by knowledge, and who are situated in knowledge of the self. So, these are the characteristics of a person who will go beyond this janma, who will go to moksha. The action cannot bind them. Normally, what happens? Whatever action we perform, because of that, we get papa punya and we remain bound up in that cycle. So we keep having punarjanma. But if there is somebody who has given up karma in the fire of yoga, that means a person who does all his karmas as karma yoga. The person who is not having any doubts, all his doubts have been taken away because he is having atmagnana, and he is always situated in that atmagnana. Such a person is not bound by any kind of actions. So this person is superior, the person who has atmagnana. So then they don't get caught up in the cycle of papa punya. So to get this, what is the necessity? Do karma by seeing the jnana part of the karma. Chant the names of the Lord with the awareness that chanting these names is going to give pleasure to the Lord. Offer puja to the Lord with the pleasure, with the idea that I am doing this for the joy of the Lord, and that this is going to take me ahead in my sadhana. Don't do puja saying that I am today offering you this coconut and these flowers. Tomorrow I want this in return. Then that does not mean, then that is only karma, and that is worse than karma. That is like setting up an account with the Lord, bargaining with the Lord, isn't it? So such a person who has this superior mindset, he will live in this world, and whatever he does, he will not get bound by those actions. He will not get any papa because of it, and he will not get any punya because of it. Now, here the example is given. Like if you have a fire and you throw something into the fire, what happens to that item which is thrown in the fire? Whatever is thrown in the fire will completely burn it off. Why is the fire completely burning it off? Because it's the nature of the fire to burn whatever has been thrown into it. Similarly, the fire of yoga, the fire of karma yoga, burns all the bindings of the karma which is performed. By which person? By the person who is having atmagnana and the person who is not having absolutely any doubts in his mind. So we have to try and live like this. Now, what happens? We get carried away. Many times we are not able to remember this. So we should practice gradually, at least, to try and live with this awareness in small, small things. Right now, we are having, let us say, zero awareness. Then let us try that at least when I am doing the actions towards the Lord, okay, at least when I am doing puja, at least when I am singing kirtan, at least when I am doing japa, at least when I'm doing dana, at that time I will say that I'm doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. The Lord is getting it done through me. With that bhava, I will try to do. Then gradually, what we must do is we must try to move a little ahead. And whatever other actions in our worldly life are going to happen, for that also we should slowly try to cultivate this same bhava. I am working in a college. Whatever actions I am doing here, they are not only for the purpose of doing the action, they are my offering to the Lord. So gradually we have to move further in that path. Okay. And then finally, the 42nd shloka, Krishna explains. Now he's talked about lot of things. Now, generally, when we tell many things, and finally we will say, now we are trying to summarize, and we say, therefore. So he's saying in this shloka, therefore. That means whatever I have told before, therefore, after having listened to all this, O Arjuna, you do like this. So in the 42nd shloka, Krishna tells Arjuna, Tasmad Ajnana Sambhutam Pritstham Jnanasinaatmanah Chitvainam Samshayam Chitvainam Samshayam Yogam Atishtottishta Bharata. He says, therefore, with the sword of knowledge, cut asunder, cut away the doubts which have arisen in your heart. O Sayan of Bharata, O Bharata, establish yourself in Karma Yoga. Arise, stand up, and take action. Now, in the previous shloka, Krishna has told that if somebody is going to have doubts, then there is no way he will get moksha. So it is important to cut away that doubt. Now, why this is relevant for Arjuna here? Because the reason why Krishna started telling all this to Arjuna, this Bhagavad Gita, was that Arjuna had this doubt in his mind, isn't it? He was beset by doubt and worry. And he said, how can I fight against my own people? So that was the great doubt which had arisen in the mind of Arjuna. So now Krishna is telling, he has explained everything to him about karma, about doing karma with jnana, and how by joining jnana to karma, it becomes karma yoga. How when you do karma yoga, it does not have any binding on you. It does not cause any papa punya. And by telling all this, now Krishna is saying, therefore, with all this knowledge, make that knowledge into a sword. And the doubts, the ignorance, whatever you had in your mind, those doubts have to be cut. So if you want to cut those doubts and ignorance, then what is the sword to be used? It is the jnana. It is the atma jnana. It is the concept that atma and deha are not the same. So if you think that atma and sharira are same, then it is doubt. It is ignorance that you are having. But if you realize that they are not the same, the atma is what is shashvata, the sharira is only temporary, and whatever I do is going to be for my atma. With that bhava, if you do, then it is cutting the doubts with the sword of knowledge. Now here, the word rid has been used. So rid means heart generally in language. But when here Krishna is explaining, when he says heart, he is of course not meaning the physical heart. Rather, the word heart is used to mean the mind, because doubts arise in the mind, isn't it? So when the mind is full of doubts, then using the sword of jnana, destroy all those doubts. And once you cut the doubts away, then there is no more any barrier to doing your karma. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, and what Arjuna had done at the beginning, he put aside his Gandiva. He said, my limbs are trembling. I am not able to stand up straight. My voice is shivering. I am not able to see clearly. Right? Very clearly, Arjuna was in great distress. And therefore he said that I am not able to fight, and he sat down. So now what Krishna is telling him, you are whatever doubts you have in your mind, all this jnana what I have given to you, with this jnana as the sword, you cut those doubts, and now you stand up, arise, and do your karma. So all this Krishna has explained to him. And he says that when you do this karma yoga, all the papas will be destroyed. And when papas are destroyed by doing karma, then automatically we get purified. And if we get purified, our buddhi becomes more sattvic. And then with that sattvic buddhi, we can get more jnana. And finally, we will reach Atma Sakshatkara. So it is important to do karma. It is important to do karma as karma yoga. As a result of that, Papa will get destroyed. Because Papa is destroyed, we get purified. When we get purified, we are able to get more and more jnana. And finally, we will reach the stage of Atma Sakshatkara. We will also reach moksha. So, this is what Krishna has explained in this entire fourth chapter. So, many times now, one important thing we need to remember in this chapter is that now all this that Krishna is telling Arjuna, that you have to get jnana, you have to get jnana, with Atma jnana you do, and you cut away all your doubts and everything. What happens is, there is a limit to how much we can process. As we already said, how much ever is our papa and punya, based on that, we will have that much jnana. If you've actually observed and seen, you may have noticed that there, in the past, your ability to understand certain things in the spiritual world was different from what it is now. Things which were not very clear previously, they have become clearer now. But still, there are a lot of things which are not clear to us, isn't it? Like, for example, to give my own example, initially, when I used to try to understand about these alvars and what they are teaching and all that, and what is it that they are talking about, I used to not understand anything. Like, although I was reading the words and I was trying to figure out what it was, that understanding was not coming easily. But after I took my diksha from the guru, and after I started listening to other acharyas explaining these things, then what happened is, slowly, little by little, what was not clear to me started to slightly become little more clear. It is, of course, a process, and I'm still evolving. But whatever previously I used to think that what is the meaning of this, it is so confusing. Those things now today I'm little able to somewhere at least see the outline of that. Of course, there's a long way to go, but now I can say that compared to what I was 2 years back, I have really been able to understand something at least now. If previously my knowledge, my understanding was 0%, now at least I have come to 5%. So that is a progress by itself. Now, how did that happen? If it had to happen because of my own effort, if it had to happen only because I was applying my mind more, then that the progress should have been much greater, isn't it? Or it should have been much faster. But that is not the factor here. As we already said, when we are still caught up with our papa punyas and we are not pure, then what happens? Our mind, our intellect, everything is clouded because of that papa. When the acharya does anugraha on us, when we approach a guru and when we have the grace of that guru, then what happens is, slowly by their grace, we get purified. And when we get purified, then that, what you say, that avarana, that covering of ignorance which has clouded us completely, slowly, little by little, the clouds start moving away. So, if we try by ourselves, we are only going to get stuck up in doubts. Therefore, you remember the shloka, one very important shloka in this chapter, where Krishna told Arjuna, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. People who are jnana, jnanis, people who have tattva darshana. Go to those people, serve them, and seek knowledge from them. Go to them with humility, ask questions from them, serve them in every possible way, and get enlightenment from them. So that is what we have to do. We have to find our guru, we have to serve, do seva from them, and get upadesha from them. And once they do an upadesha, once they prescribe something to us, we have to practice that which they have prescribed. And by doing all this, we will gradually move further in our adhyatmic sadhana. So that is what we have to try and do. So with this, we have come to the end of the fourth chapter. There is one story which is told to explain the Mahatmya of this fourth chapter, how important this chapter is. There was one Rishi called Bharata Rishi, and he was living, I think, in Kashi somewhere. So once he went on a pilgrimage to some place. And as he was passing by some place, he was in the afternoon, he was tired. So he wanted to lie down and take rest. Now it so happened that there were two bale trees. And those trees were located, very close to each other. And there was shade under that tree. So what this Bharata Rishi did was, he lay down under that tree to take rest, to sleep for some time. And he placed his head on the roots of one tree, and the other tree was very close by, so his feet were on the roots of the other tree. Now this Bharata Rishi, he was a very great soul, and he always had a habit that whenever he was traveling for Tirtha Yatra, he would be chanting the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So even at that time when he reached there, he was chanting the shlokas of the fourth chapter. And when he was sleeping also, because he is a great jnani, he was taking rest, but in his mind he was continuously chanting the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So he slept, he took rest, and after some time he got up and he walked further. He continued on his journey. However, that night onwards, one strange thing started to happen. Gradually, over the period of the next 5 or 6 days, those two trees, they dried up completely and they were reduced to nothing. Now, after some time, it was in reality this Bharat Rishi, he went back to Kashi. And then one day when he was doing his tapas there, one day there were two small girls who came and they fell at his feet. And they told him that, "Oh, Bharat Rishi, thank you so much. Because of you, we got liberation." So he was surprised. He said, "What is this? What did I do? I don't remember any time ever doing anything for you girls. What is it that you're telling?" He asked them. So they said, "You don't know about it, but both of us, we were actually apsaras, and we had been sent by Indra to break the tapas of one particular rishi who was living on the banks of the Godavari river." Because Indra was worried. See, Indra has this problem always that whenever somebody starts doing more tapas, he thinks they are doing tapas to get his Indra Padavi, to get his position as Indra, Lord of Swarga. So the minute somebody starts doing more austerities, he will try to do something to go and disturb those austerities of that person. So one rishi had been doing tapas on the banks of Godavari river, and because Indra was worried about that, he sent these two apsaras from Swarga to distract that rishi. So when they went there and they tried doing that to distract the rishi, that rishi had cursed them that you are having unholy desires and you have come here to try and distract me. So because of these wrong things that you are doing, I'm cursing that you will become trees. Now those apsaras had felt very bad and they had begged forgiveness from that rishi, saying that um, we are very sorry, we can't help it. We are under the command of Indra, and because he told us we were forced to come. So please take mercy on us. They begged him. So then that rishi on the Godavari river had told, "Okay, you will continue to be trees until you come in contact with Bharata Rishi, who is going to come and redeem your curse." So these two apsaras had become those two bale trees. And when Bharata Rishi had been lying under that tree, constantly chanting the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, such was the power of the Bhagavad Gita's fourth chapter that those two trees, those apsaras who were caught up in that tree form, they got liberated from that form and they got Manushya Janma, so that by doing further sadhana, they can go to moksha. So that is the Mahatmya. That is the importance of this fourth chapter. It is so powerful that it can release somebody from the effects, from the curse of a rishi also. So that is what we have talked about in today's satsang. So with that, we have come to the end of the fourth chapter. By God's grace, by Acharya's grace, we have completed the fourth chapter. So in the next satsang, we will start with the fifth chapter. Now, after Krishna has told all this also, Arjuna is still going to have some doubts. What are those doubts of Arjuna and how Krishna is next giving him a idea of yet another aspect of sadhana, that we will talk in the fifth chapter from next satsang onwards. So let us now offer Kritagnyata to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and to join this satsang. And let us pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. Thank you everybody for joining in, and we will meet again next Thursday as usual. Namaskar.